Hello everyone, welcome to the Tim Booker channel. I hope you enjoy listening to books. Today, I'll be interpreting The Light We Carry by Michelle Obama, former First Lady of the United States. In her earlier autobiography, Becoming, Michelle detailed her journey from a girl in a working-class African-American family to an Ivy League elite and eventually becoming the First Lady. However, in The Light We Carry, written 5 years later in 2023, Michelle focuses on the challenges she faced during her tenure as the First Lady. She delves into the myriad challenges in her work and personal life and the tools of the spirit she used to navigate through these difficult times, safeguarding the light within herself through life's darkest moments. Transitioning into the life of a First Lady brought significant upheavals for Michelle after her husband, Barack Obama, was elected president. Within 9 weeks, their entire life in Chicago was packed, and they moved to Washington, D.C. Their daughters started at new schools. Barack was engrossed in forming a new cabinet, while Michelle grappled daily with dozens of decisions, ranging from choosing new White House beddings and tableware to organizing inauguration ceremonies and even recruiting her own staff. However, being the First Lady, fundamentally, is just a job. The challenge lies in its lack of a manual. There's no prescribed way to do it, yet everyone has high expectations. Every action and word are scrutinized, capable of causing significant waves and potentially affecting the president's public support. Being the first Black First Lady in American history, Michelle faced heightened attention and immense pressure. Apart from the challenges at work, Michelle also dealt with personal worries, a part many can relate to. Her relationship with her partner, Barack Obama, wasn't always harmonious. Additionally, facing the tumultuous teenage years of her daughters left her frequently puzzled and anxious, leading to introspection about her life. These instances, among many others detailed in the book, offer a glimpse into Michelle's challenges as the First Lady, both in her work and personal life. After listening, you'll realize Michelle, like many working individuals balancing a career and a family, confronted difficulties that resonate deeply. The book echoes situations where many can find reflections of their own struggles, drawing strength from her experiences. Before delving into Michelle's tenure as the First Lady, let's rewind to a moment the book highlights, the year 2008, just months before the presidential election. Michelle faced an unexpected mishap during her first televised national speech. The stage was set in a massive arena, and her brother, Craig, introduced her before the speech, whispering to her about a malfunction with the teleprompter. Despite the daunting situation of having to give a 16-minute speech without the prompter, she managed it flawlessly, solely relying on her extensive preparation and rehearsals beforehand. This incident sheds light on Michelle's meticulous preparation for speeches, a routine she followed diligently before important addresses. Despite initially perceiving her as a natural orator, this insight revealed that her prowess was a product of solid groundwork and relentless practice. Michelle emphasized that while this preparation wasn't easy, it served as her armor against fear and unexpected challenges. This habit of thorough preparation continued to steer her through her 8 years as the First Lady. For instance, upon arriving at the White House in 2009, she was unfamiliar with the presidential lifestyle. However, drawing from her prior experiences in various managerial roles across law firms, city government, and healthcare institutions, Michelle knew the drill of starting a new job. She understood that perfect alignment with a new position wasn't immediate. It required observation, adaptation, and continuous adjustment based on how others operated before finding her rhythm in the role. The role of the First Lady is indeed a new job, but with greater and more peculiar challenges. It comes without a salary, a boss, or an employee handbook. In Michelle's previous life, she was accustomed to following task lists. However, this time, there was no one to tell her what to do, and the consequences of making mistakes were severe. What supported Michelle throughout was her thorough preparation. As soon as Obama was elected president, she began inquiring about people's expectations of her. Upon moving into the White House, she meticulously studied the official activities of the previous First Lady on a daily and weekly basis, creating a detailed chart outlining where she had attended events and organized activities. In her first year, she primarily mimicked, gradually developing her own priorities and action plans, becoming increasingly adept at her role. Michelle mentioned that this habit of planning and solid preparation helped her work more calmly in immensely pressured environments. It provided her with stability in unexpected situations. Over the years, she realized that comprehensive preparation was essential for effective adaptation in unpredictable circumstances. Besides the challenges of her new job's content, Michelle also bore a psychological pressure linked to her racial identity, a sense of otherness. In the history of the White House, traditionally occupied by white individuals, the Obamas were undoubtedly outsiders. If being the First Lady attracted considerable attention, being the first black First Lady intensified the scrutiny and demands. However, Michelle was not unfamiliar with this feeling of otherness. When she entered Princeton University at 18, she was a minority as a black woman among mostly white male peers. The campus structures, portraits on walls, teachers, and classmates were predominantly white. At times, she felt people hesitating when they saw her in social settings, or she noticed curious gazes in classrooms, almost as if saying, "Look, it's that black girl." However, she soon realized that if she dwelled too much on external perceptions, she'd confine herself, feeling uneasy, constrained, and unable to fulfill her true potential. So, how did she handle this feeling of otherness? Or, when we feel out of sync with our environment due to our identity, race, education, gender, or family background, how do we adjust our mindset? Michelle shared her father's approach. When Michelle was young, her father was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, affecting his mobility. He walked with a limp and tremors, drawing curious looks in public due to his different gait. Yet, what Michelle admired about her father was his indifference to others' stares. He remained composed, doing what he needed to do. Sometimes, when Michelle and her brother felt uncomfortable seeing people's reactions, her father shrugged and said, "If you feel good about yourself, no one can make you feel bad." This became Michelle's tool to combat her feeling of otherness. Each time she entered a new domain, felt out of place, and sensed scrutiny, she recalled her father's words, allowing her to regain control of her mindset. It taught her that how she viewed herself was paramount, the foundation for changing her surroundings. Whether on the streets of her hometown, in Princeton's classrooms, or under the grand dome of the White House, this principle remained unchanged. Yet, beyond overcoming her internal otherness, Michelle faced a bigger challenge, dealing with people's stereotypes about black individuals. She noted that if a black woman displayed anger, advocated loudly, or behaved unexpectedly, she'd easily be labeled as angry, aggressive, or arrogant. From assisting Obama's election campaign to her initial years as the First Lady, Michelle struggled with these labels. For instance, during her campaign support speeches, her expressions were caricatured, magnifying her frowns into monstrous depictions. Just after becoming the First Lady, when she greeted the Queen of England and briefly put her arm around her, several British media outlets criticized her for daring to hug the Queen, deeming it impolite. In 2010, when Michelle highlighted the prevalence of childhood obesity and advocated for healthier school meals, some conservative commentators portrayed her as a menacing disruptor, implying she wanted to destroy children's happy childhoods and imprison French fry eaters, curtailing people's freedom to eat. Moreover, Michelle realized that confronting these stereotypes head-on would lead her into new traps. In 2012, during a talk show, she openly discussed these issues in a friendly atmosphere. However, the next day, the New York Post featured a photo of her furrowing her brows, with the headline, "Michelle Goes Ballistic," followed by, "First Lady Says, I'm Not an Angry Black Woman." In the early years as the First Lady, Michelle felt that despite her efforts to remain calm and dedicated, it seemed impossible to dispel many people's stereotypes. Gradually, she discovered a way to navigate through by softening the tough. Firstly, she learned not to confront head-on those voices attacking her, as resistance might intensify the unfavorable impressions. Moreover, it could lead to meticulous traps. For instance, Michelle cited a story from the first African-American female Supreme Court Justice, Ketanji Brown Jackson, during her college days at Harvard. A group of white students raised a flag representing racism in the campus square. The Black Student Union swiftly organized protests, and Jackson halted all other activities to join. Their response was effective, gaining widespread media coverage and institutional actions. Yet, Jackson soon realized the trap. when the black students were engrossed in protests, they couldn't focus on academics or showcase constructive sides. The intention behind those flags might have been to infuriate the black students, making them exhibit anger, disturb their mental peace, potentially leading to academic failures, reinforcing the stereotype that black students will lag behind at elite institutions. Such traps exist in reality in various forms. Hence, Michelle and Jackson believed that sometimes, you need a bit of thick skin. When faced with stereotypes and voices attacking you, it's crucial to control anger and resentment. Instead, focus on long-term goals, channeling emotions into motivation. That's the real battleground. During her years in the White House, Michelle gradually learned to reconcile with negative labels. She started boldly showing her true personality. She danced and did push-ups on TV shows, played rope skipping and soccer with kids on the White House lawn to advocate for children's exercise and health. She performed rap with celebrities on variety shows, promoting the importance of earning a college degree to young people. She found her path, doing serious work in joyful ways. Gradually, the voices accusing her of being angry or arrogant diminished. This was another lesson she wanted to share: the best way to combat ugly stereotypes is to be your authentic self, continuously proving them wrong through actions. It might take years, and some may remain unswayed. However, by being true to yourself, pursuing what you believe in, you challenge those hoping for your failure. You increase your chances of success, walking the path you desire, rather than being swayed by insignificant individuals. Apart from work-related matters, Michelle devoted ample pages in her book to her private life in the White House. There were, of course, many aspects different from ordinary lives. The White House was surrounded by Secret Service agents. Whenever she did something unexpected, agents would swiftly react, speaking into their wrist microphones and hastening their steps. Once, when her daughter's friend visited, Michelle insisted on greeting the friend's mother, prompting the agents to swiftly encircle the woman's car before allowing Michelle to approach. However, Michelle's life also shared common worries with others. For instance, her marital life with Obama wasn't devoid of friction. Some were trivial matters, like Michelle complaining that Obama left socks lying around or forgot to return butter to the fridge promptly. Sometimes, Obama found fault with Michelle for watching too many frivolous TV shows. There were also more serious issues. Obama's lax sense of time and casual attitude toward certain matters annoyed Michelle. Conversely, Obama disliked Michelle overfilling his schedule or involving too many people in plans. They differed in their approaches. Obama preferred efficient communication, seeking immediate discussions when conflicts arose, while Michelle's nature was more intense. She needed to vent before having a calm conversation. Often, Obama, eager for dialogue, faced Michelle's passionate rebuke. However, these didn't affect the solidity of their relationship. Though in Obama's initial political days when he was exceedingly busy, conflicts arose due to Michelle handling most responsibilities for their children, they eventually overcame those hurdles, and their relationship grew tighter. In her book, Michelle also shared insights gleaned from their 3-decade-long marriage. No matter how passionate your love is, you need to accept your partner's faults. Don't believe you can change someone fundamentally. People can only be themselves. You can't force them to become someone they don't wish to be. In intimate relationships, both of you need to make countless small adjustments, compromises, and sacrifices to find a way of being together that suits you both. Moreover, after her daughters became adults, she reminded them, a partner isn't a universal problem solver or a tool to fulfill your needs. If you enter a marriage expecting someone to support or rescue you or provide a father for your children, your marriage might not be happy. The goal should be finding someone willing to strive together to build a life rather than expecting the other to cater solely to your needs. She also told her daughters, a successful partnership should resemble a winning basketball team, requiring two skilled individuals who are well-rounded. Apart from knowing how to shoot, they should be familiar with dribbling, passing, defense, being flexible enough to interchange positions at any moment. In other words, you and your partner should operate as a team to face life's challenges. You might have different roles, but thinking you can slack off in some areas is unacceptable. Michelle half-jokingly advised her daughters that if they ever heard their partner saying, "I'm only responsible for earning money, so don't expect me to change diapers," they should run far away. Additionally, in the book, Michelle discussed her parenting anxieties, a section that resonates deeply. When Michelle and Obama first moved into the White House, their two daughters were 10 and 7 years old. During Obama's 8 years as president, the girls transitioned from innocent grade schoolers to teenage girls, undergoing crucial stages of growth and development. Throughout this period, Michelle frequently grappled with anxiety. Any missteps by her daughters during their teenage years triggered her worries. She questioned whether this unique White House life was ruining her children. Continuously, she self-doubted, was she too strict with them or not strict enough? Was there a parenting book she missed reading? Did the current issue reflect more significant underlying problems? Were there essential life experiences she hadn't shared with them? And so forth. She knew that this kind of self-torment was common among many parents. They feared not doing enough, doing wrong, and potentially hindering or misguiding their children. Moreover, this anxiety didn't vanish as children grew older. Even when they were adults, in college, or working, parents still pondered, was there something more they could do for their children but hadn't? Fortunately, over the years, Michelle had a secret weapon against parental anxiety, her mother. When Michelle felt anxious, her mother listened, comforted her, helped control her emotions. As an experienced person, her mother often remained unruffled and unfazed by some of the girls' behavior during their teenage years. She'd tell Michelle, "Those two girls are fine, they're just learning how to live." The philosophy she consistently conveyed to Michelle was, you should trust your children to manage their own lives, also, trust your own judgment. The book also delves into parenting experiences from Michelle's mother. These experiences played a significant role in Michelle's and her daughter's growth. Here, they summarize them into 3 proverbs. The first, knowing what's genuinely precious. Michelle's mother had 6 siblings. When they were young, the rule at home was, children should be seen but not heard. It meant the children had to be well behaved, not creating chaos. For instance, their expensive glass coffee table shouldn't have any marks from the kids, not even a fingerprint. Moreover, children shouldn't interrupt adults' conversations. At the dinner table, they had to remain quiet, respectfully listening to the adults. When guests visited, children were summoned to the living room, where they'd stay quietly without speaking, except to greet. Michelle's mother always remembered the feeling of having many words held back and the inability to use pretty things. She believed her parents hadn't discerned what was genuinely valuable. If you couldn't hear the children, what was the use of seeing them? Hence, when she had Michelle and Craig, she encouraged them to speak up, express their genuine thoughts, and didn't keep any precious items off limits. She believed that under this roof, only the body and soul were genuinely valuable. Subsequently, when Michelle raised her 2 daughters, she adopted the same attitude, encouraging exploration at home, where all thoughts could be expressed without fear. Moving to the second proverb, I'm raising adults, not children. This was a phrase Michelle's mother frequently used, representing her parenting style, fostering independence early on. For instance, when Michelle started kindergarten, her parents gifted her an alarm clock. They went through the morning routine from waking up to leaving for school. Then it was clear, waking up and going to school was now Michelle's responsibility. Since then, her parents never woke her up again. Even if she overslept or refused to go to school, her mother wouldn't nag her, she'd stand back and let Michelle face the consequences herself. However, Michelle benefited greatly from this incident. It gave her an early sense of being in charge of her life and a consciousness of being responsible for her life decisions. This small act of the alarm clock vividly illustrated her parents' parenting philosophy, teaching children independence early. If there was something Michelle couldn't do, her mother would demonstrate it once, then step aside for Michelle to try on her own. If Michelle came home and complained about something bothersome at school, her mother would attentively listen, then ask, "Do you need me to intervene?" A few times, Michelle answered, yes, and her mother genuinely helped her. But she discovered most times, this question motivated her to calm down, think things through, and often her response became, "I think I can handle it." The book also highlighted an interesting incident. When Michelle was in high school and felt her math teacher was particularly arrogant and didn't like her, she complained to her mother. After listening, her mother nodded understandingly and said, "You don't have to like your teacher, and she doesn't have to like you." But she holds knowledge about math, and you have to learn it. Then, smiling, she added, if you want to be liked, come home, we'll always like you. This was another parenting proverb Michelle kept close to heart, come home, we'll always like you. Michelle's mother often said this to Michelle and Craig. Michelle mentioned that this was the most crucial message her mother imparted to her, home is where you'll always be loved and accepted. She believed this profound strength supported her through many challenging moments in life. And she continuously endeavored to create such a home for her children, letting them know, no matter what they experienced outside, they could always come home, here, they'd always be welcomed, supported, and loved. Alright, here are the key points from this book that I wanted to share with you. Apart from the tools of the mind that we just discussed regarding Michelle, the book also details some events that occurred after Michelle stepped down as the First Lady. For instance, during the pandemic, it delves into how she found solace in handcrafts like knitting to calm herself. It also touches on her steadfast personal creed of, when they go low, we go high, among other things. If interested, you can read the original book for more. Towards the end of the book, Michelle mentions a detail from the year she stepped down as the First Lady, in 2016, a year filled with significant events like Trump's rise, police shootings of civilians in the US, the spread of the Zika virus, and Brexit in the UK. A renowned magazine published an article titled, Was 2016 the Worst Year Ever? However, as we all know, events continued to unfold. Every year brings new crises, and people often label each year as the worst ever. Uncertainty has become the norm, and we grapple with life, combat fear, constantly seeking a sense of control in this uncertain world. Will this world get better or worse? Many ponder this, yet few can offer a clear answer. Michelle admits she doesn't have an answer either. But she believes that in facing external challenges and internal worries, we are not powerless. At the very least, we can equip our toolbox of the mind and take one step at a time, using these tools as needed to navigate through life's obstacles. The term toolbox isn't a casual metaphor but stems from Michelle's memories of her father. As mentioned earlier, her father, due to illness, had difficulty using his left leg and often stumbled, relying on a cane to walk. That was his essential tool for mobility. As his condition worsened, his tools also evolved, from the cane to crutches, then to a motorized wheelchair, and finally, a modified small motorized vehicle. Did he enjoy these tools? Certainly not. Did these tools entirely prevent him from stumbling? They couldn't. However, did he need them? Absolutely. Michelle states this as the value of tools: they help us coexist better with uncertainty, cope with change, and support us when life feels out of control. So, we can gather tools suitable for ourselves in this world. Nevertheless, despite that, we might still find ourselves stumbling due to reality. In such times, Michelle's father repeated a simple phrase countless times: you fall, you get up, you keep moving forward. Perhaps, this is the light we can ignite within ourselves. No matter how many times the world kisses us with pain, the light that shines from within can't be dimmed. Congratulations on completing another book. Thank you all for your support and attention. Please subscribe to the Tim Booker channel, like, and share this valuable knowledge with your friends. Let's combine wisdom and practice, achieve our financial goals, and create a better future together. Thank you all, goodbye.